All right, hey everybody, John here today at Empowered Strength. I want to take you through the basic fundamental positions, these restorative, ground-based positions we like to call resets that we utilize from the original strength system and kind of take and splice and use these in different ways to make them our own. So what I like to do first is get people down on the ground, and this is a soft gorilla mat here, so it's like a big yoga mat that just goes out and is over our already flooring that's a little bit of a soft, like a stall mat too. So you want to be in a somewhat soft, welcoming position, but not something that's just a total squishy mat or like a bed. That's a little bit too soft for most cases too. So on our backs to start, we're just going to talk about the core of the core, which is breathing. So I'm going to be on my back with my knees bent up in this hook lying position like this. And I want to just get back to basics with my breathing and this diaphragmatic breathing. It's a little bit hard to see, but I want to really make my belly rise and expand out here like a T into my diaphragm, and then the last phase up into my lower chest. I don't want to see this big chest rise and this kind of gasp for breath. This quick inhale like that tends to keep us in a sympathetic state. It's not restorative, it's not as functional of a breathing pattern here. So you see that a little more clearly that I'm able to get into my lower abs here. I'm breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth slow with a pause on the inhale, pause, exhale, out, and pause on the exhale. Really methodical, focused breathing. I can go on my back, I can go in kneeling positions. Anywhere I want to challenge my breathing, just wake things up and restore 5-10 breaths, something like that, to just get us in a nice state of balance, nice state of just, again, getting that core of the core going here. So there's breathing. The next one here is rocking. So I can rock in all different ways, and there's basically no right or wrong with this either. We're not going to hurt anything, but we want to make it as effective, restorative as possible. So what I recommend is just keeping our back in a nice natural neutral position. I could use like a foam roller or a small ball, even dare I say it, a cell phone on our backs, something like that. So sitting back into this with my head up, I'm also trying to stay in that restorative breathing. What I can also do here to really get things more effective and turn up that amplitude a little bit on that restorative, reflexive kind of ability and stability here is to keep my tongue on the roof of my mouth. If I keep my tongue on the roof of the mouth, even more restorative through the neck and the kinetic chain through our back and all down that area. So just trying to rock back with that head up, tongue on the roof of the mouth. I can also tuck my toes and get a little different effect. All different ways I can rock at different angles. Rocking down into on my elbows, just giving you a few examples here. Watch my feet for a second. When I turn my feet in, that's gonna change the effect versus neutral versus out, and then pointed toes, same way there. So get all different effects on the hips and all through the chain of the core, how that restores things just by changing those positions. So it just gives you the principles, gives you the foundation there. Next one we can do just down, call this our prone on elbows position, which is a good restorative position just in itself, making sure I'm pushing slightly active into my shoulders, setting my shoulders down, and then head up, head down. Same idea with the tongue on the roof of the mouth. I can also add rotations with that, turning side. Lead with your eyes too, so head, eyes, and breath. Make sure all those are doing work. If you try to turn and looking at a different angle or try to turn one part without the other, it doesn't want to go. You see how all that neurological drive, that sequencing wants to work together to go a lot farther. Again, don't forget your breathing either. So next one after that rocking and head nods, we have a rolling pattern. So we're going to go here, long, extended, we call this our X, just tying in this whole sequence here, of our X, and we're going to reach, look, and reach. Imagine everything else is paralyzed in my lower body, God forbid, and I'm going to reach, breathe, and try to basically flop over, pull my body over, that way. So there's a upper body roll, Leading with that upper body, lower body roll. I'm going to lead with this leg, reach this leg out, breathe. And again, try to flop over. Pulling myself over, like I'm grabbing this leg is pulling the rest of my body over. So there's a little taste of rolling, all kinds of different patterns within that as well. Next one I want to cover here is crawling. This is really, I call it kind of the king of this reflexive strength, this ground-based stuff, because it has a lot of benefits as far as even fat loss if I'm crawling off of my knees, which I'll show you in a second here. It really lights up the core, it gets the shoulders working, keeps the head in this restorative position. So we go on and on with the value of crawling, but I'm just going to show you the baseline here of just crawling. We want our toes pointed, dragging our feet here, my head's up, and again, breathing well. I'm just going to crawl slow, forward and back. And you can simply do, timed reps. We could do something for 30 seconds, a minute to start on the knees. I can crawl for distance in different ways too, different ways to challenge it. Off of my knees would be the next progression. Slowly trying to keep this nice and smooth as well. See how I time this with my leg and arm work together and opposite sides too. So I'm able to keep that nice gait pattern going, that nice natural walking pattern going. So next one actually is into our basically marching pattern, opposite arms and legs. We're going to add a little twist to this by starting to put our elbow to our opposite limb, wake up both halves of our brain basically here. We call this a cross crawl. So here, looking straight ahead. Again, same thing with my head position, with my tongue on the roof of the mouth here, making contact and touching. I can try to go slow, and I can work into a faster pattern, just making contact. If I need to, I can go here with my wrist, into my elbow, and then the more advanced here would be right there. And then I'm going to touch my knee to my elbow, trying to breathe naturally here. The most advanced here, I like this long X position, trying to stay long on one side and then shorten, bring in the other side. It's harder usually than it looks too. Reaching long on this side and bringing this side in, long on this leg too, so I don't want to scrunch here. So long position. So there you have it. There's the fundamentals of how we teach those reset patterns. Something to do ideally every day. You can set a timer, you can go for reps. I recommend starting with at least one reset for 1 minute a day, working up to what I usually do. I like to do at least 5 minutes a day. Sometimes I'll segment them throughout the day. Ideally 3 times a day I'm going through all those. It would take 2 or 3 minutes. 3 times a day is what I found to be very restorative, very valuable. What I've done, what I've used with hundreds of clients to get that reflexive fundamental strength and stability, get them out of pain, moving better, crawling, flowing, doing all the playful, fun things they want to do with an active lifestyle that we always promote too. So there you have it. Enjoy those resets.